and it's going to smack off of both the Q proofs. So we're going to roll through what happened back in 2018, and then we're going to roll back around where it swings back around again. Might have seen this image on this show before if you're a avid watcher. If you're newer to the show, the ending, the double proof might blow your mind. But for most people watching this show, you probably haven't seen the one we're going to show for the first half. So let's get into it. Okay. Starts with 1258 Q, April 24, 2018. Anon asked, hey, when are we going to have the Moab, mother of all bombs? Okay. And here's where Q replies and says, hey, should we just tell the deep state, the good people watching the day and time? Should we give them a red carpet rollout? Think logically, the world is watching. Okay. So that was April 24th, 2018, Q talking about a red carpet rollout. Let's go. Same day, 1260, Q posts Sarah Carter tweet at the time. Breaking, DOJ will make 6 months of missing texts that were eventually located between Strzok and Page available to Congress sometime tonight or tomorrow, according to sources. This is developing. So Q grabs that post and says, red carpet event tonight? State dinner? What will the text reveal? Moab or just a precursor? All right, let's keep going. Okay. And I remember all this. Some of this was live when she was on the Hannity show, and some of it was on her Twitter. It was like this give and take. What's going on? Is it going to happen? What's going on here? And she's like, oh, I'm waiting. I'll let you know as soon as it happens, blah, 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 blah. So like it was like all this momentum, then it seemed to like pause. Now, personally looking back on it and a little bit at the time, I was thinking like that was all orchestrated as well. But Q says, happened. It's not public. We're trying to debate on how to handle it. We're buying time. It's toxic and dangerous. And the word threats is down there at the bottom, which that will weave into our double Q proof. Let's keep going. Okay. So Anons were thinking red carpet rollout. And as I was reading those posts, they were from the last week in April 24th and April 25th. And Anons noticed that we had the Emmy Awards on April 29th. So we're like, And Anon had asked on the boards, are we on the right track here with this? And Q came back and said, Emmy Awards? Red carpet event? April 30th. Okay, so we were like, what's going on? But that was, April 30th, and that event was already happened on the 29th. So let's keep rocking. Now you fast forward to September 2018, upper left, 2161, 9/11, 2018. Rats are running. Timing is everything. Enjoy the show. In order is 2165 on the right. Not going to read the whole thing. Let's just pick something out of it that all right, the top part. The top part is the first couple sentences is the most important part. How do you inflict max pain causing the most amount of damage? Okay. Drop daily carpet bombs, makes the rats running, and then you drop and release the Moab. Okay, so those are the important things to remember there. And then this one's kind of a near and dear to my heart. Really, really love this Q on the bottom left. Okay, Q 2173, dated September 15, 2018, and Q is telling us, remember September 17th, D-class incoming, okay? Dark to light, carpet bombs turn into the Moab. Talking about the text messages, dark to light. Okay, this is all September 11th, September 12th, September 15th, 2018. Let's keep going. So guess what happens 2 days later? On the 17th, of course. Q gave us all that foreknowledge and all that up of all the things. They were all about these text messages. So what happens on the 17th that Q gave us a heads up and said, remember the 17th, Trump orders the feds to declassify the key FISA documents, text messages, FBI's Russia probe. POTUS did it on September 17th, and it's the article you can see on the bottom right. It's talking about Strzok Page and Carter Page, all this nonsense. Okay, so boom, everything that we were tracking hits on September 17th. And then on the next slide, I think I just recap the flow. Well, this is really important. Okay, so what was also on the 17th, can't make it up, right? You can't make it up. It was the Emmy Awards night. The 70th Emmy Awards was on September 17th, just like we were tracking in April, because we thought it was going to come out in April. And like Q kind of gave us like a heads up, just keep with that thought, guys. You guys are over the target, and we'll get back to it in September. And that's why that all those Moabs and red carpet and all those cues started happening that for, September 11th through the 15th that I read. It led us back around, and we found that the Emmys were that night on September 17th, coinciding with Donald Trump's release of those text messages that we were tracking in April. Okay, so now on the next slide, I have a go around, I believe. No, I still don't. Okay. So Q is basically giving us a little coaching here, saying, all right, we gave you the September 17th. Do you believe in coincidences? Bottom left, 2189. Right on September 17th, attention on deck. Going to have the memes on the ready. This will also come back into the double Q proof. Think of these words: lock on target, fire at will. Okay. And then over on the right, this is going to be the picture that is going to lead us into the second Q proof. But Q2190 back in 2018, what all this was referring to for September 17th, Q says, hey, well, it was an Anon said, hey, Q, you were right all along. Emmy Awards, red carpet, Keck, because we saw the connection that the D class came out on the 17th, the night of the Emmys on the 17th. Q takes the picture, takes the words, takes everything, creates Q2190, which we later call the Butler Q. But Q answers this one and says, yes, you Anons picked up on the carpet bombs for you and you alone. Fight. Okay. All right. So the 2018 Q proof hits right here. And then on the next slide, I show the wraparound where it all makes sense. Okay. So we started back in April, okay, with this Moab, think red carpet rollout, think logically. Q is telling us you got to kind of wait. That's basically what we're saying. Q is like, we can't give you the exact day and time right now. Let's put a pin in it. We'll get back to it. And then Q gave us a little signal right before it heated back up that week of September 11th to the 17th, that week period where Q was putting back up the Moab and the messages and all that. And then sure enough, it all comes full circle. Donald Trump releases the documents September 17th, the day Q was telling us to remember September 17th, remember red carpet rollout, remember the messages, happens to hit the Emmy Awards night for the 70th Emmy Awards was later that night, September 17th. And Q comes back around and confirms everything and says, yep, you Anons picked up on it. You picked up on the Emmys, the red carpet rollout, the carpet bombs, red carpet rollout, red carpet bombs. Like we were saying, your carpet bomb leads you to the Moab. All right, fight. So we're going to boom it here for the 2018 Q proof on the red carpet rollout. This was fun back in the day, so let's boom the hell out of that. All right. And if you're newer to the show and you might not have seen this material before, just try to have an open mind here for a second. Just kind of clear your mind of everything that you think you know about what happened the day of the Butler shooting. And we're just going to talk about just what's on the screen here and not talk about the 36,000 other decodes we have of Butler and that we called it in advance and that Trump's ear is ridiculously fine. We're just going to talk about what's on the screen here. Okay. So Q 2190, we lovingly call it the Butler Q on this show. And here's exactly why. Q gave it to us on September 17th. He's in the pose of what happens in Butler. He's got the same suit minus the tie of what happened in Butler. He was standing on a red carpet at Butler. And after he asked for his shoes, which we had those comms as well, the first words he says after the incident that happened at Butler was fight, fight, fight. So everything in that queue was foreknowledge of what happened at Butler. And then guess what? Just for the hell of it, Donald Trump posts it on the Delta. So the bottom right is Trump's Truth Social. You could check it if you'd like. I grabbed this slide today. September 17th, 2024, an exact delta, 6-year delta of that queue that gave us all the foreknowledge of everything that happened in Butler is staring at you on an exact delta. Check the pose. Check the words, fight, fight, fight. Check that he was on a red carpet on a 6-year delta on his Truth Social. And for the hell of it, a couple posts after this, he posted the Butler chart as well that same day, which actually I got on the next slide. But just want to have that kind of like sit in your mind. Let's go back one for the people that are newer to this. Just let that settle into your mind for a second. And the guy on his right, by the way, or our right, his left, the guy with the shades on underneath the flag, that's the picture from Butler. So like all the breakdowns that allowed Butler to happen. So you would think that, oh, everybody there let a lot of problems happen. I'm going to fire everybody here. No. He didn't. Not only did he not fire that guy underneath the flag, got promoted to the head of the Secret Service. That's Sean Curran, who is currently, as we sit here on this show today, was promoted to the head of Secret Service. So that kind of blows it out of the water that was all an inside job, because Trump has all the information in the world. He knows who did what and when and how. All right. Hopefully I did a good job explaining that. But on the next slide, it didn't just stop there. So here's a mind blower if you're newer to the show. We just went through the 2190 queue on the far left, how it tied to Butler. And I mentioned that Trump also on the same day posted the Butler chart, and that's on the top right. So delta, delta, Q delta, 6 years apart, Q 2190, Butler pose, Butler suit, Butler red carpet, saying fight, fight, fight. And he pointed at that chart. So you're going to tell me it was a coincidence that exactly to the day, 6 years later, Donald Trump is posting himself in that pose at that moment, and then also including the chart on the upper right. No, that's just all a coincidence, Stormy. You're crazy, right? And then we picked up on comms for the Washington Correspondents' Dinner, and we said, that's probably going to be in advance, by the way, not afterwards. In advance, we said there's probably going to be something at that Washington Correspondents' Dinner that's going to look a whole lot like Butler. And guess what happened? A guy rolled in there firing a shotgun that had no flash. No smoke came out of his barrel. He's firing on Secret Service agents in the chest. And what does Trump do? Immediately grabs his Truth Social and says the show must go on about that situation. And he did it at 9:17. That's the middle bottom. That's the post of the Washington Correspondents' Dinner. So we were over to target about Butler. We're over to target about the Washington Correspondents' Dinner, all in advance, by the way. In the bottom right to the right, everything ties back into the JFK assassination. So the show As the World Turns was broken into on CBS by Walter Cronkite to tell the world that JFK was shot. That show was on the air for 54 years, and it just happened to end on September 17th, 2010. And that's the way it was. September 17th, 2010. All right. So there's the 917 comms all around the board. Butler, Washington Correspondents' Dinner, and going back to even JFK, all ties to 917. And what did Q tell us? Remember 917, ... Coincidence, ... Boom. Double Q proof, Butler style. Boom the hell out of that.